Hallo allemaal, welkom in podcast 10. Je gaat het niet geloven, maar het is al 10 podcasts ondertussen dat we Hoppestraat podcast doen. Maar het is waarschijnlijk de podcast die we het verste ooit van thuis hebben opgenomen. Dat wil zeggen dat we niet in de Hoppestraat zijn. We zijn niet in Gent, we zijn niet in België. We zijn in Stockholm, in Zweden op dit moment. Zoals ook al aangekondigd in de vorige podcast. En mijn gast spreekt ook geen Nederlands. Mijn goede vriend Kristoffer, die ik zo dadelijk ga voorstellen, spreekt Zweeds en Engels. Dus we gaan de rest van de podcast in het Engels doen, want ik spreek geen Zweeds. Dus hierbij gewaarschuwd, net als de vorige podcast, hebben we er nog eens één in het Engels. And we switch to English. Hey Kristoffer.
Hello Jasper.
I gave you a little introduction in Dutch. Did you understand anything I said?
Some words that you're in Stockholm, Sweden,
Exactly.
and we'll speak. You had a podcast in English, basically now. So yeah.
I can already tell you the next podcast will be in Dutch again. I try to mostly focus on Belgians with the podcast that don't necessarily always speak English.
Yes.
But if I see the ratings of the previous podcast with Owen from Ireland, it stays the same. So
Okay.
we'll see how that goes.
All right. Great.
Let's have a beer first, because that's something we haven't been doing at all in Sweden in the last couple of days. Was
Indeed.
beer. No, what are we having?
We are having a Brännskär brown ale, which is a traditional brown ale in the sense of the English type brown ale. Pretty malty, pretty dry as well, but some hops lingering there, and easy drinking, and unfortunately not of the brewery's flagship beers, because this is a kind of beer that the Swedish people doesn't appreciate as much.
That's funny. Neither do the Belgians, sadly.
Yeah.
It's a tough style. Anything brown these days is getting trickier for some reason. And that's a shame, because there's a lot of diversity in brown beer, especially also in brown ales and all that's around. Which brewery is this from?
Nynäshamn Ångbryggeri.
Nynäshamn.
If you translate it to English, it's Nynäshamn, which is a place in Stockholm area, but down south of Stockholm. And Ångbryggeri means literally steam brewery.
That's a steam brewery.
It used to be. It's not
Okay.
anymore a steam brewery, but the name still get the name. So yeah.
Kristoffer, we've had a few wonderful days
Yes.
in Stockholm. I'd like to already thank you for this beautiful, beautiful little
been a
trip
pleasure.
we've done. Karen was, I think, also over the moon. It's been absolutely everything on it. We had also fantastic weather, which we are looking forward to the blood moon coming up in an hour.
Hopefully, yeah.
So we're recording on Sunday. You'll probably listen to this on Tuesday or Wednesday. Depends a bit on how fast I get this out. And that's going to be really fun to see from your apartment, because there's a clear sky. Man, the weather's been so fantastic. And on top of that, Sweden, Stockholm has been so fantastic.
I'm glad to hear that.
But enough about Sweden and Stockholm. People probably wondering, who is this random man that Jasper brought on the podcast? So a little bit of context there. Because you're not just a random Swede. I would argue you're probably the biggest beer nerd I know.
Okay, yeah.
And I say that with all the love I can say. I already introduced you a little bit on Instagram earlier. People might have seen it. You have more than 50,000 check-ins on Untapped, which doesn't necessarily mean anything, but knowing you, those
Did you
are...
say 50,000 or 15?
15,
Yeah, that's more correct. Yeah, thank you.
Quality check-ins.
Yeah.
Very honest check-ins too. We've met each other in Amsterdam many years ago.
True.
On a business convention, which had nothing to do with beer. But you probably know as much, if not, probably more about beer than I do. And you know a lot of people in the Swedish beer scene, which I've also made some use of in the last couple of days. Thank you for introducing me to all these beautiful people.
No problem.
But outside of that, who is Kristoffer Odstam? Can you maybe tell a little bit about yourself?
I can. Born and raised here in Stockholm, Sweden. And when I was like 12 years old, we moved down to south of Sweden, Kalmar area. When I was 19, I moved back because I moved with my mom and my stepdad, but my let's say real dad, biological dad, still lived here in Stockholm, so I wanted to be closer to him and moved back. I met Nini, my girlfriend, back in 1998 at a folk high school, and she also likes beer, which is good.
which we noticed.
And we have a lot of
holidays.
common interests like music, arts, nature, stuff like that. Well, I'm also into I like the occasional football game, to have a good chat with friends, having a few good beers. Yeah.
How did you get so much into beers? Is there a specific turning point?
I would say it's your fault, guys. It's the Belgians. I have to say, blame the Belgians in this case.
I'm currently looking at your book collection, and almost all the books I see, and this is not one or two, that's easily 20, if not more books, are almost all about the Belgian beer culture.
Yeah.
It seems you really love the Belgian beer
Yeah,
culture. What about it is that appeals you so much?
I think for starters, when I was about, 18, 19 years old, the only thing you were after in the sense of having beers was the effect, right? So, but when I was about 25, I think I had maybe it was a Guinness or Newcastle brown ale or something like that, or McEwan's brown ale at that time. Mm-hmm. It's like, whoa, a beer could be more than just a light lager, a blonde lager. Triggered my mind that, okay, let's try some more beers. And I think it was not until the end of the 90s when I tried a Rodenbach the first time, which really was mind-blowing. Beer that is sour and sweet at the same time. I was blown away.
That's really, really nice to hear that an old Flemish brown and Rodenbach has changed over the years, which I think you probably will acknowledge.
This was the Grand Cru, I think.
Even better. Yeah, that's fun. That changed a Swedish person into becoming, let's be honest, a beer nerd.
Let's be honest, yes. Yeah. Mm.
So Rodenbach is your turning point.
I think so, and we had the usual suspects back at the time in Sweden was like quack beer in the funny glasses, and there were also some triple Carmelite, stuff like that. So yeah, and I also really early got into triples, because of high ABV, but still didn't taste as boozy. Because at that point, if you would have like an 8% beer in Sweden, it would taste like shite, really. It would taste like so much booze that was like, cleanse your palates with nail polish or something like that. So that was, I was intrigued by the balance. How can they make strong beers still accessible, but still with a lot of character? But that also, of course, the triples is something, but the Odd Bruins and the Flemish Reds ones, it's more complex. Yeah.
Absolutely. And to be honest, that's how a lot of people, I think, in Belgium got into beers. Mostly through the triples rather than the old Flemish browns. But even then, that's a nice story to hear. You did reach out much quicker than a lot of other people did. You were drinking an English brown ale, technically.
Yeah.
You're definitely into a lot of things. We just got back from a nice restaurant bar. We had a lot of German-style beers there.
Indeed, yeah.
What is it about Stockholm? Because the funny thing is also that the first stop we did was at a iconic place, the Pressklubben, which is arguably might be the best Belgian beer bar in the world, and it's a bit ironic that it's not in Belgium. We've also been to the legendary Akkurat, which doesn't only focus on Belgian beer at all, it's very international, but it is focusing on a lot of classics specifically, a lot of English ales, a lot of German ales, a lot of Swedish stuff. What is it that Stockholm, that I really felt in also a few places really, why is it that Stockholm embraced the Belgian craft beer scene?
I would say Stockholm as a beer, or Sweden as a beer nation is relatively young, in the sense that back in the early 1900s or the 20th century in the beginning, it was mainly focused on German lagers. And we had like back or until 1995, there were like only 5 breweries, big industrial breweries that put out mainly light lagers, but also the occasional Dunkel, stuff like that. So we don't have a beer culture of our own. And if you're talking to a Swede, we've always been a bit curious about variety, different styles, in terms of drinks in general, but also food. So that's, if you go out to Stockholm, you can see different food from all over the world, because I think the curiosity is something
also because
that's,
it's a harbor city, maybe, or does that not really?
Could be, yeah, but let us say that, okay, Sweden and Stockholm has been a bit more progressive, maybe, and also influences from other parts of the world, maybe because of the harbor, but also Gothenburg on the other side of the country was, you had a lot of influences from Britain back in the day, and it also came to Stockholm. So this kind of beer we're having now, the brown ale, obviously it's a kind of an English or British beer. And this was also the case of porters and stouts in Sweden for 50, 60 years ago. It was quite popular, but then faded out. But it's now we have a huge diversity. I told you that 1995 we had like 5 or 6 breweries. I think now it's about 500 breweries in the country.
Yes, and most of it that I've had was actually absolutely amazing.
Oh,
which I think we're going to talk a bit more about the last couple of days at the end of the podcast, see how much time we have for that. Because this is a news podcast. We dive a bit in the beer news, as I warned you about.
So not the history, No.
Well,
the news.
we'll get into that, but maybe we should dive in the news first and then see where we go next.
Great.
Alrighty. So topic number 1 is already immediately a tricky one, and a few people asked me in the last couple of weeks, you talk about the news, yet the brewery that's probably been most in the international beer news lately has not been mentioned at all.
Okay.
In all my podcasts so far.
Yeah.
And that's because I waited long, as I felt it was basically, dare I say, a sinking ship.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even touch it with a 10-foot pole, but here we go. It apparently seems that we do need to talk about Brewdog.
Brewdog, all right.
Are there any Brewdog beers here in Stockholm? Bars, Brewdog bars?
We do.
Or in Sweden in general?
Yeah, we do have 2 Brewdog bars in Stockholm. I think there's one in Malmö, one in Gothenburg. Those are the bars I know of in Sweden. Might be in Norrköping and some other places as well. But let's say a handful in Sweden, yeah?
Okay. Before we continue, you know the controversy around the brewery. Probably heard a few things.
I heard it, and I know, a bit of it, as most people in the beer scene might heard of the politics behind the recent events of the brewery, yeah?
I can imagine people that listen to this not necessarily have. So is it all right if I just take you a little bit through the recent history of Brewdog? Also know that this might be outdated when this goes live, because things change fast. But we need to go back to lockdown, to 2020. And that's about the time that there was a big #MeToo movement in the beer world. Now, there was a famous beer personality and former employee of Nudge Brewing from the US. Maybe you've heard of that, Brian Allen. She asked online, and this was actually quite a random, if I'm not mistaken, Instagram/Twitter post back in the day, if anyone else was fed up or had experience with toxic work experiences or even environments or sexual harassments on the work floor.
Right, yeah.
If I remember correctly, this was because she just had one of many after a few nights of men saying stupid things in the tap room. And she wanted to check, and that blew everything open.
Yeah.
The reactions were, let's put it mildly, quite mind-blowing. Now, all over the world, stories were shared from our female colleagues and people that were working in the beer industry that identified themselves as female. And this was also in the UK, it hit hard. A lot of horrific stories seeped out, and there was one specific Scottish brewery that was in the middle of this storm, and I think it's already quite clear which one.
Yeah.
Now, the CEOs back in the day denied all allegations. It wasn't a problem, it wasn't a thing, it was all being blown out of proportion. Now, in January 2022, so we're 2 years later, a documentary was shown on the BBC Alba, which is the Scottish BBC branch.
Okay, yeah.
And this was shown prime time, titled The Truth About Brewdog. And these showed multiple witnesses, although sometimes mostly they were put anonymous, telling stories about inappropriate behavior towards female staff, both in the brewery as well as in various tap rooms, domestic and abroad. But on top of that, it also proved that there were breaches in the US import regulations. The hypocrisy around their punk attitude was also put into light, having stakes owned by Heineken, how all their backers and private investors, because don't forget, Brewdog started as some kind of Kickstarter, where the equities of punks would get all their investments back. And this will, I mean, it's currently probably, well, it's probably quite sure that these people will never see their money back. But also how its ecological message. So the whole thing was that all the CO2 that they produced in the brewery, which every brewery does, of course, would be offset in the forest, and that was completely bullshit, because at the time of filming of that BBC documentary, there was the first tree still needed to be planted in the land that they owned.
Yeah.
Now, James Watts was the CEO, and he stepped down in May 2024, so that's more than a year ago. And he's trying to figure out like a new thing, so he's pitching all kind of TV shows, apparently. Now, there's a big topic about that in The Rest is Entertainment, a really popular British podcast about everything entertainment-wise. I'll put the link in the description if anyone wants to know more about it. Now, meanwhile, in the last 2 years, about 2,000 pubs in the UK have delisted Brewdog beers from their offerings. 2,000 pubs. Now, that's a lot, yeah. According to the Drink Business, that's like a famous trade publication on EU drinks, that means a drop in 52% in distribution.
Whoa.
According to the Craft Beer Channel, other famous YouTube channel, this mostly has to do with that Brewdog is still quite represented in the supermarkets, so the Wetherspoons and all those places, Tesco and whatnot, and that pubs don't really see a reason anymore to stock up on Punk IPA, because people just have that at home. That was a bit their reasoning.
Yeah.
I think that might be a very positive or romantic view on everything. But 2 weeks ago, Martin Dickey resigned, who was the co-founder with James Watts. So that means that the two majority owners are no longer working there day to day. Now, this is not unique necessarily even in a brewery, but mostly this is in case of retirement, of reallocations. But these people are in their late 40s. So thinking that there is not a huge crisis currently at Brewdog is quite naive. Then we go to last week. There's a new CEO who, if I'm not mistaken, already stepped down. It was like a new CEO that took over for someone that only worked there very shortly. There's a lot of movement, as I said.
I didn't know that.
It's crazy. There was an interview saying that Brewdog doesn't have an image problem. And the weird thing about that is kind of true, because maybe a lot of people that's currently listening have no clue that this is the case. They have somehow been able to not put that very big out there. A lot of people just don't care. So that might be true, but saying that Brewdog doesn't have an image problem in our industry, that might be a bit weird, because in the meantime, they closed another 10 franchise Brewdog bars in the UK in one go.
Okay. Seems to me that there's a big identity crisis and no direction for the future, really. So, yeah.
So let me sum that up for a second. The depths of Brewdog are huge. We know that, because that's public information. It only made profit once in its entire lifetime so far. There's been whispers of some kind of deal between the Hut Group, that's a British e-commerce company, and Brewdog. I don't think that means a takeover or a merger, but it probably means something else. But there was a lot of money involved in that deal, apparently, and it's not really clear what's going to happen with that. Now, this is something that might be a bit subjective, but you can still point to it. It is quite accepted that the quality of the beers have been going down drastically in the last couple of years. And that is probably on purpose. 15% of their own estate closed down in a week time now. 15%. And 50%, actually more than 50% of their original volume is not sold in the last 2 years. So, Kristoffer.
Yes.
Do you want to take a bet on how long Brewdog will survive?
Man.
How do you recover of something from this?
I don't know. I mean, I mean, Brewdog to me, when I was let's say younger beer drinker, and it was kind of an eye opener. I have to say that. I mean, Punk IPA back in the day, and the whole image around it, and the punk attitude, everything, it was appealing to me, you know. But to be honest, I don't think I have actually had a Brewdog beer for 2 or 3 years, maybe. Yeah, But I do visit the Brewdog bars in Stockholm occasionally. Why? Because they are good at promoting other local beers from the local breweries, which I would say, okay, fine, that's great. I have no idea about the future of Brewdog as a brewery. It seems to me that they're having struggling a lot at the moment, and it might be, in this case, okay, get rid of James Watt and Martin Dickey and the old, owners and founders and CEOs, and try to get a fresh start. Yeah,
I think that might be, that's clearly what's happening.
Yeah,
I don't think they found anyone yet that can let this ship unsink. If that means anything. I don't think this can go anywhere valuable right now. I think they need to get rid of the name. I think they need to,
so total rebranding or something.
Apparently, it doesn't have an image problem. A lot of people. That's what literally has been said, and I think indeed for a lot of customers that is true. It doesn't have an image problem. People have no clue what's going on.
Yeah,
and also need to be said that most of these bars are franchise bars. So
indeed,
you technically can be just a self-employed bar owner. And you basically buy the Brewdog brand, or you license, you buy the license of the Brewdog brand, right?
Yeah.
So probably the ones in Sweden are good examples of that. In fact, the one in Brussels, which is famous next to the central station, is probably an example of that as well. Now, I think that bar is fine, as in quality-wise. They serve a lot of local breweries as well, just like here. In fact, they serve dog beer, so disclaimer.
That's good.
They do serve always our beers of the brewery that I work for. That is really cool. I mean, they don't have to, but they do. I've heard there's another beer nerd, so sorry, Martijn, that I call you out for a second, Martijn Korvers. I've had a talk with him, I think this is already probably 2 years ago, when that whole news of Brewdog hit, of the whole sexual harassments and so on. He said, that's all terrible.
Yeah.
That's all horrible. But I know the people that work at Brewdog in Brussels, they have nothing to do with that. The people there are treated fine. The beers are actually in top condition. They support local craft beer breweries. I don't see a reason why I would not go there and support those people. And I understand totally what he's saying there as well. So there might be some truth to that. I don't know the people from Brewdog Brussels. I've heard only good things about them. It's Belgian Beer Week this weekend.
Yes.
I've seen that a few people that I know and that I respect and that I've heard a lot about went to the Brewdog bar this weekend and said that the offers on tap were not that great this weekend. That might just be a temporary thing. That also might be signs of the times of what's currently going on.
Yeah.
Who knows? This is all speculation.
Okay.
I hope somehow that place, because it's a phenomenal location right in the center of Brussels, finds a way to keep representing craft beer as it actually is currently doing, maybe under another name. Maybe the Brewdog name can become or Brewdog bars can become synonymous for good craft beer bars without the attachment of the old brewery. What do I know? But the way that it's heading currently, the brewery itself, I don't think that'll survive the year.
Okay, yeah. No, but as you say, Jasper, it doesn't look like it's an uphill story here. It's more of a downhill story. Yes. And indeed, as you say, also the franchises all over, Europe, and I don't know if they have plenty of bars outside of Europe, but
they do.
Still,
they have a lot in the US as well.
Franchises, but Tokyo. You're still affiliated to the brand, to the kind of the company itself. So you can take the parallel of the Mikkeller bars as well, which is also a franchise. And I mean, let's face it, 10 years ago, they were the talk of the town, Brewdog as well. And always putting out super interesting beers. Okay, mainly for beer nerds, I don't know, but could also, be an eye-opener for other, people that love to have a beer and socialize with friends and stuff like that. So, but what we see now is also because of this, let's say, political meltdown, as in Brewdog. Okay, where can you go from there? I have no answers, but you might be right. okay, a new direction, try to do something without being, the same Brewdog anymore. So
it's not up to us to save Brewdog. We don't need to find a solution for that brewery here in the podcast.
they have to figure out.
But they need to figure this out. Yeah, there's a lot of jobs on the line.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that clearly love craft beer that are working there or in that environment that I think needs to be taken care of. There are a lot of people that love craft beer that have invested in this brewery that I think currently it's very clear they will never see their money back. I think that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
It's really sad. It's a shame because they were, as you said, one of the first lights of beer for a lot of people. Like this was one of the instigators of European craft beer.
True.
It was for me, it was for you.
Yeah.
I didn't get Punk IPA right from the beginning. I already was into IPAs and I didn't really think that was for me the go-to beer back in the day.
Yep.
But there were other beers that they made. If I'm not mistaken, they had like what was that? A grapefruit IPA or something like that. I think I really like Elvis.
Yeah, Elvis.
I think that was a great beer. That was really a beer I enjoyed back in the day. There were a few others.
Yep.
And they made some silly beers as well that I liked.
Oh, I tried Sink the Bismarck and then these really silly stuff where they have this competition with I don't know the name of the German brewery, but they're competing about who could
wine,
make the strongest beer in the world. So
Sure. And that's cool. I mean, those are taglines. That's that brings craft beer in the news. That lets people talk about it. It's silly, I agree, but that's fun and that's okay as long as that's fun and games and you still take your beer brewing seriously. Why not? Because we still need to live from this, and you can use that. You can do that. But when we're talking about how James Watt behaved towards women, I think that's a different story, and then it's not silly and not fun anymore.
No.
Then I move away.
Yeah.
Shall we also move away from this topic as we also move away from this beer? You have been hereby officially informed about the news of Brewdog. I don't think we'll talk about it anymore in this podcast. Because there's so much more other nice stuff to talk about, right?
Yes, that's true.
Because we go from one dog to another. Another dog, which I definitely prefer. A much more fun dog. He passed away a few years, however. I'm talking about Billie. Do you know Billie?
Billie the dog?
Billie the dog?
As the mascot of the Billie's Beer Bar? Or?
Absolutely.
All right, yeah.
Because I want to talk just maybe shortly about the Billie's Craft Beer Fest that has announced finally their first 30 names.
Okay.
That's already a lot.
How many will there be?
16. I think this is the first half. Before I go there, this means we're almost at the end of the festival season. As already mentioned earlier, we just had Belgian Beer Week, which I missed because I was here, which was really funny. Because we arrived here, I think, on Thursday. You took us to the Preskluben. We met Jens. And Jens was like, that's fun. I'm going to Brussels right now.
Yeah.
So we were exchanging countries.
You arrived and he left.
Yeah, that's funny. That means that, we just missed Belgian Beer Week, but this next weekend, it's both Wanderlust, so Brussels Beer Projects Festival, and BOP, Bruges Beer Fest, which is really fun. Have you been at any of those?
I haven't. I've been to Belgium quite many times, but usually work trips. Yeah, work trips. I combine it with some good beers, but I never really had the opportunity to experience one of those festivals. I have to do it. So,
if you're in the country, let me know. But Billie, 7 and 8 November. I'm gonna just go quickly through all the breweries. That's a lot. So zone out if you're not interested in this.
Okay.
I do want to point out one brewery on this because you did some investigation, and that's fun. So we have Alvine from Belgium, which was funny because that was the brewery I had the first beer here in Stockholm from. Was really good. Arpus from Latvia, Baskar from Lithuania, if I'm not mistaken, LT. Beretta from Romania, Bofcon from Belgium, Boerenerf, Brasserie de la Sambre, all from Belgium. Brew Your Mind from Hungary, that I've never heard of before, so I hope that they blew my mind. The original Budweiser from Czech Republic.
Oh, great.
That's great. Fermentage from Portugal, Ghost Town Brewing from the US, Interstellar from Mexico, Land and Labor from Ireland. And we talked about Land and Labor in the previous podcast, so check it out with Owen Walsh, our Irish friend. La Pirata from Spain, Lervik from Norway, and then Maria Torget's Bryggeri from Sweden. We're going to come back to that later.
Yes.
Misery from the Ardennes, of course, a great brewery from Belgium, which we talked often about in the podcast because we went there not so long ago. Mountain Culture Beer Company, Nano Brasserie Spo from France, great brewery. Newborns Brewery from the UK, Nognieu from Norway, Oud Beetsel, Pinta Brewing from Poland, Rivington from the UK, Soma from Spain, Sparkle Quiberon from France. I don't know that brewery, so that's fun. Third Moon from Canada, Toppling Giant, iconic brewery from the US.
Iconic, yeah.
Ushu Brewing from Japan. It seems you're going to Japan, if I heard correctly.
Hopefully.
There's so many Japanese breweries. That's a topic for another time. And then, to be honest, one of my favorite breweries in the world right now, probably flagship, mostly New England, but good at what they're doing, Verdant from Cornwall, UK.
Yeah.
I sent you this list earlier, and I said there's only one Swedish brewery on this, which is odd, because Sweden very much on the map of craft beer and one of the leading countries in the last couple, well, leading maybe not, but definitely part of the conversations.
Part of the conversation.
So many breweries. Yeah. But I had never heard of Maria Torget's Bryggeri, so I did some digging. Yes. I looked it up, and then it was funny to see that I typed the address that's on Untapped, and the pinpoint landed me of literally one street around the corner where we are currently.
Which is funny. Yeah.
This is funny. This brewery is literally, I mean, we cannot, if we could look through the windows, or through the wall, we could see it.
More or less, yeah.
You gave me a porter from them. I'm going to take that home and probably drink that with some friends later. Do you know anything of Maria Torget?
Well, they've been around for some years, I would say. To me, it's always been kind of a secret brewery. First, I was like, it's all commission. It's like, they brew their stuff elsewhere, but because you can't really find out on the cans some information. But apparently, they used to brew at a venue at Mariatorget, which is a part of Stockholm, which is not where we are right now, but it's not very far, a few kilometers. So when you told me that, okay, this is right next door to our house, I had to really, what? Because this is a residential area. And you can't really, I didn't know there was a brewery here. So I actually walked 5 minutes up to this address, and there was a steel fermenting tank outside, and I was like, all right. Might be that in the basement of this building there's a brewery actually. So I also started some digging. I spoke with some friends and also with Anders, the guy that took us down to the cellars of Akkurat, and he said the same. They moved from Mariatorget to this address in Hammarbyhöjden where we are right now. So
that's funny.
That is funny, yeah.
Yeah, we haven't really dived into it anymore.
No.
But it's cool to know that you have a brewery around the corner now.
Exactly.
It's never going to be a tap room because it's a residential.
It's not open to the public, no.
Somewhere in the attic. But that's cool. I'm really looking forward to diving into that brewery. I've also decided I'm going to Billie's. I'm not sure if it's going to be 1 day or 2 days.
Yep.
It's been 2 years ago that I have a love-hate relationship a bit with that festival, because on one hand, it's phenomenal. This was 30 breweries.
And
30 more to go.
When I heard the list, I recognize most of them, and they're really good ones. Yeah,
they're all good ones, and the ones you don't know are the fun ones, because that means that they're there for a reason.
Yeah, yeah.
30 more to go as well.
Oh my God! Yeah.
And that's a bit the problem for me. It's always a bit too much. You can't really socialize that well because it's so busy.
Yeah.
It's an all-in price, so you pay quite a lot for 2 days, but you don't. There's no tokens. There's nothing like that.
So you drink as much
exactly
when you're there.
To the brewers, they just serve you. They get a forfait, like they get a fixed price for. The beer is paid for. So it's fun for brewers and it's fun for the people that go there. But I'm quite sensitive for a lot of sound and big crowds, and I feel that every time I'm there, I'm happy for a few hours. And then it always turns to, this is a bit too overwhelming.
Yeah.
And then I go home a bit early, and that's a shame because apparently it's always the after parties and the things like that.
That's
a lot
most
of
fun,
work
yeah.
to it, but yeah, okay, that's fine. So Billie's coming up. Thank you for your investigation.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
And the beers I had from Maria Tos microbrewery is a good ones. So I hope you like the porter. I did.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
We've had a few porters already this weekend.
Yeah.
They've all been actually quite good.
Great.
Let's move to next topic, and that's not such a fun one because
No.
it's for the next news we're going to Berlin, and
Okay. Yeah.
let's give a bit of context. In 2016, the lovely Ulrike Gens, have you ever met her?
Never met.
No, I've never met her either,
yeah.
but I've only heard good things. Opened the legendary Sneeuwuil. I probably pronounced it wrongly.
Which means Sneeuwuil.
Sneeuwuil, yeah. For the first time in a very long time, Berliner Weißes were brewed again in Berlin. And steeped in tradition, but not afraid to innovate and go a bit crazy here and there within the style, she started brewing them again. But the classic being Marlene, named after the famous Berlin-born actress Marlene Dietrich,
Yes.
was the one that, is a classic in beer world. But we woke up last week with some sad news, and I'm just gonna read the press. Dear friends of Berliner Weiße, 9 years ago the Sneeuwuil took off as a niche within a niche, and that's, I guess, true. I brought Berliner Weißes back from oblivion, investing a lot of passion, energy, and money, but the pioneering years are over. In Berlin, this beer style is hardly known anymore, and few people are able or willing to afford it. Beer has to be cheap, but with artisanal products and high costs in Berlin, that's just not possible. Low alcohol sour beers are not in demand. People prefer non-alcoholic options. Even connoisseurs really treated themselves to a matured Weiße, although that is the true strength of the style, to age and present itself as a champagne-like drink. In gastronomy, positioning it as a wine alternative was difficult. Wines today are getting sweeter and sweeter, especially more sweeter than 20 years ago, and beer is just not considered special enough for restaurants. The crowdfunding campaign gave me hope, but the new location fell through by the time the funds arrived. It wasn't enough also to invest in new premises and staff, so I had to juggle brewery salon, which is a tap room, and new plans, running daily operations entirely on my own, with little time for sales or export, and bookkeeping was never my strength. In the end, it was all too much and nothing done properly. Therefore, I cannot continue like this. Maybe it will return one day in another form. I'll remain loyal to the style. That gives me a bit of hope, but we'll see. But for now, Sneeuwuil is retreating, waiting for better times. Perhaps a stroke of luck will bring it back to life. On September 30th, and that's close, so everyone that's in the neighborhood or in Germany or in Berlin, please go to the salon and try this when you still can. She will close her tap room. My cellar is still full. You can pick up matured beer for 30 euros per case in the salon, large bottles for 10 euros. I won't do shipping, so don't even ask. Thank you for all your support, the wonderful events and conversations over the years, Ulrike. And this breaks my heart.
Yeah. Great beers. I had, as you said, the Marlene beer. We used to have it in the supermarkets in Sweden here.
Yeah, it was much more common in our area too. Yeah. Iconic bottles, the Duvel bottles. Them, yeah.
True.
The stubby Duvel bottles.
Stubby ones, yeah.
And then all these beautiful Berliner Weisses. In Ghent, you could always get them at Geers, the very nice beer shop.
Yeah.
Man, when I read it, first of all, it also was shared in Beer Geeks, the Benelux Facebook beer group.
Yeah.
It was also shared at the Gentian beer community, and the most common reaction I heard was, "We're not surprised."
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that even hurt. That even broke my heart more, because it's true. I was not surprised either. We saw it coming from a mile away. In fact, rumors that she was going to close has been going on for the last 2 years. So we all saw it coming. And indeed, with the crowdfunding and so on, that went well. There was some hope, but then you need to figure out where you're going to invest and so on. So to hear that it's going to close, and it's a style that some brewers outside also of Sneeuwuil are keeping alive, but she's the one in Berlin. She was the one doing that. It's a beautiful place. It's fantastic beers. It's always been high quality. And yes, it wasn't the cheapest, definitely not compared to the other Berlin craft beer breweries, but just generally just German and Berlinish beer. But what a loss. What a loss.
Indeed, yeah. It breaks my heart as well. And it's similar to the story of Bryggeriet from Sweden,
Absolutely.
also, which was specialized in wild ales, spontaneous fermentation and stuff like that. And they did it for, I don't know, like 10, 15 years at least, you know. But apparently it's, it's hard times, you know, to get the revenue and to get everything working.
Just sour in general in Europe is tricky.
It's tricky.
Naval in the Netherlands, we've already mentioned a few times. Fantastic brewery. Also
and you have barrel programs and stuff like that, which is costly, obviously. And it's not easy to get to live on that kind of, you know, tiny market, which it is.
It seems for breweries that are only doing this type of beers, it's impossible to live on. And that's really sad because those are generally the ones that do it the best.
Yeah.
Especially Berliner Weißes of Sneeuwuil was world class.
Yeah, and I love this because, I mean, I had plenty of Berliner Weisses, and especially from, let's say, craft breweries, not from Germany, but when they put too much fruit and too much berries, it's not a Berliner Weisse in my sense anymore. I would love the Sneeuwuil beers because true to the style, but with a twist. So I'm sad to hear this news. Yeah.
So am I. Let's go to our last topic of the news, but it seems you want to crack another beer first.
Why not?
Why not, indeed? That looks like trouble.
Winter Porter.
Of which brewery? Same brewery?
Yeah, same brewery. Nynäshamn. Yeah.
This is one of those beers I think I had like in a cardboard box or something.
It is in a cardboard box.
Yeah,
actually,
sure.
Yeah.
Let's go again to good news, shall we? So
Please
we go
please.
up and down, because Boon is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year, and I was hoping we could drink it together, the beer that they are releasing for that. I don't think that was an option because it's probably not even released yet, or it has released and I couldn't get it here in time.
Do you know the name of it?
I'll tell you all about it.
Yeah, okay.
So Boon is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year with a festive blend of innovation and tradition.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, that's marketing talk for you, but hey, we all know how this works and I totally understand. So of course, Boon Brewery, founded by Frank Boon in 1975. The brewery is marking this milestone with the launch of a new beer and a completely renewed visitor tour, which is cool. So to mark the occasion, Boon Brewery is releasing a limited edition of its iconic Geuze Mariage Parfait. So it's called the Geuze Mariage Parfait 10. It offers a full and rich tasting experience with an alcohol content of 10% instead of 8.
Okay, yeah.
That's trouble if you ask me. I don't like these strong beers, but...
sounds good to me, but it might be a bit too strong.
How strong is the beer we are currently drinking?
I think it's 8 something or 9-ish.
It's 9.1.
9.1. Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Trouble. In addition to the new beer, the brewery is also investing in the visitor's experience. The tourist route through the brewery and food cellars has been thoroughly updated. Those who visited before will be pleasantly surprised. With added information panels, atmospheric lighting, photos and screens. Lighting would be cool.
That would be cool, yeah.
And screens, the tour is more informative and visually appealing, making for an even better experience. The project was made possible with support from Visit Flanders, which promotes lambic beers as a key attraction in the Pajottenland region. I'm going to make a bit more publicity because I think this is cool. On Friday, September 19 and Saturday, September 20, so that's soon, Boon Brewery is hosting a festive 2-day event open to the public. Visitors can taste and purchase the new Mariage Parfait 10 and explore the renewed visitor tour free of charge. There will also be a chill out with a DJ, barbecue, pizza oven. On the 20th, starting at noon, there will be live music from various musicians and traditional games as entertainment. A bouncy castle will also be available.
Bouncy castle, great for kids.
To be honest, that's the most cool thing about this announcement now. I love a bouncy castle.
Yeah.
Anyway,
who doesn't?
Valsviken Winterporter.
Valsviken Winterporter, yes.
It's coming up the winter, so why not?
Winter is coming.
Skål.
Skål.
So, Boon, you're a fan of Boon?
I am, I have to say. One of the first, let's say, real lambics or guesses I had alongside with maybe, I had quite early some Hansens and
That's totally the other side.
I know. So it was really in the extreme side. So, but Bone, and especially I loved and I still love the Mariage Parfait series. Yeah, because to me it's very complex but still balanced and very accessible, but still plentiful of flavors and mouthful. So yeah,
it's a really good introductory beer to the world of lambics and huizes, I think.
Indeed.
10% might be a bit big, but for an anniversary edition, why not?
Yeah,
of course.
Do you think it's gonna be a big difference from 8 to 10%? Might be, might not. I don't know.
The only thing I'm afraid of, it's gonna be a bit more sweet. I don't know.
Could be, yeah.
It could also not be. We'll see. It's hard to say. I don't know. We're gonna have to try it.
Try it.
I have a feeling that your friends here in Sweden will be able to get that beer.
I hope so. We had last 15 years at least, we had a good influx of different, especially lambics and guesses from Belgium and Driefontein and not Cantillon, obviously, but Tilquin and some others. So yeah, and Boon as well. So yeah, I'm eager to try that one.
We say not Cantillon, the restaurant and bar we just went to, the only Belgian bar they had. It's not the only Belgian beer. Only Belgian beer they had was a Cantillon on tap. So,
but that depends on the owner of the Zum Franziskaner we went to now is Sten Isaksson, which was one of the pioneers outside of Belgium, promoting lambic back in the 90s in Sweden. And I remember went to Driefontein Lambikodrom and I spoke to Armand de Belder. And he was he praised Sten Isaksson because of the kind of the work he did for the lambic scene outside of Belgium in order to keep it alive.
It was a beautiful place. I fell in love with it.
Yeah,
because it reminded me of my time in Czech Republic on one hand, the German and Czech restaurants that I like to go to, and then that little weird Swedish touch. That made it absolutely not German and Czech. Like, that's really cool. Even the food, like if you read about it, it was very like German inspired. Flammkuchen and all these things.
Yeah, right.
Then you order it and it's absolutely not at all.
Something else,
Yeah, it's definitely its own thing and that's really cool. But congratulations, Boon, 50th anniversary. That's something to celebrate. And I think what we're already discussing brings us to the last topic of the day, which is my vacation in Sweden. It's sadly almost at its end. It's the last couple of hours. We're going to go back again tomorrow.
Yes, yeah. Did you have a good time?
Did I have a good time? Oh boy.
Hope you had.
It was phenomenal. It was absolutely magical. Kristoffer, you're the best host. It's unbelievable. I've had very good hosts.
Thank you.
You are definitely among the best. It's unbelievable.
It warms my heart, Jasper.
You have a beautiful family with such nice people. Your partner is turning 50, I think, next week. You're going to have a big party, and rightfully so. And I hope it's with everyone you love around you. But on top of that, this week has been phenomenal. Not only, of course, Stockholm has been great. The weather's been fine, as we also discussed. It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
The historic sites that we did. We went to the. I'm sorry, I'm gonna butcher the name.
Vasa Ship Museum.
Vasa Ship Museum this afternoon, which is, according to some of my best friends, one of the best museums in the world. But that's also because we're from the sea and we love ships. And this was really the coolest ship I've ever seen in my life.
It's massive.
It's an enormous wooden boat. But this is not a Your Boat podcast. This is not The Rest is History podcast. This is a beer podcast. And Sweden, Stockholm area did not disappoint. I'm trying to count to how many breweries we've been. I think 4, maybe 5.
Breweries or bars, it depends. Yeah, but we went to Omnipollo.
Let's start there. So that was, I think, day 2.
Day 2 on Friday, right?
Yeah. The first day we didn't go to any breweries because we've been to Pressklubben, and then we mostly, I think, stayed here.
We had some swimming back home.
Yes, and we had some really good local beers, however. But on Friday we went to Omnipollo early in the afternoon. It was very chill. Was not a lot of people there.
No.
The staff was amazing. They were so nice. The beers were phenomenal. Now, the Omnipollo, if you don't know, is probably mostly famous for its what's sometimes called silly beers, which they earned. I think they make very silly beers, but the silly beers they make are always very good in that category.
Yeah.
Karen started with a Pilsner from a tank, and I would argue that was a very phenomenal Pilsner.
Yeah, this is good.
So our good friend from the Oude Malderij, Jeff, always said back in the day, you can recognize a good brewer through his lagers or through his Pilsners. And I think this was one of the proofs that Omnipollo is a phenomenal brewery. Their lagers were all great.
But there are some truth in that one.
I think so.
I mean,
it's a very
good lager,
saying.
good Pilsner.
It's hard to make.
Yeah, yeah.
But
True.
that's not why you go to Omnipollo. Although they just did a collab with Budvar and all those things, so...
You go for the stunt stuff.
But you go for the weird stuff, right? I think we moved on first to a few IPAs, which we agreed on were a bit too fresh.
Yeah, a bit, too green.
Too green,
yeah.
which rarely happens. Normally it's like, ooh, this is old stuff. But I think these IPAs, actually both of them could have used a week or so more in the tank, because they were very spicy, as in hop burny. But you could feel underneath that these are massively
It's
very
well
good
done
IPAs.
beers, obviously, but a bit straight from the tank. Okay, yeah.
I think then we went to a beer that we both had the same beer, that I would argue is the definition of a silly beer. It was basically a very typical fruited sour, which they do fairly well with lactose as well. But that beer also put into a slushy machine and then put with a slushy ice cream on top. This will be probably also the photo of the podcast, the episode.
All right.
The thing is that was magnificent.
Yeah.
Because I am always skeptical about those things. It can be a gimmick.
Gimmicky kind of.
It can go wrong very quickly. What did you think of that beer?
For me, I was a bit skeptical at first as well. I had some soft serves and slush beers from Omnipollo before. I mean, I can't say I really love them all, but they're always interesting.
Sure.
Things going on in my mouth that is like, oh, can it taste like this and that? So, but especially with this beer that we had, Jasper, was like it was turning even better and better. Halfway down the glass when the slush kind of integrated with the rest of the beer. It was phenomenal.
Absolutely, we agree. We all agreed on that.
Yeah.
That it just got better and better, which is weird because a beer that warms up, especially a fruited sour,
it was
shouldn't do that.
No.
But with that ice cream, the synergy got better and better. That ice cream was very bitter and quite sour too.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. Like it started to melt in there and it got better and better. So that was a really, really good beer. And then I think the last round we did were these big beers. We went for a Crazy Bianca, which
big,
is...
bold beers, yeah.
They're known for these very, very strong hoses. There's not a lot about hose about that style anymore. It's just fruit puree galore, but it was amazing. Mostly blueberry focused, but it was with kiwi and I think blackcurrant as well. Then we went for the new Lorelei barrel aged. So I think it's a bourbon maple syrup stout.
Yeah, vanilla. Yeah.
Very pancakey, fantastic. It was really good again this year. It's I didn't like the one last year. I thought it was too sweet.
Okay.
It's still sweet, but it's
a dessert kind of beer.
It's a dessert beer. And then we had a Maya, which is a beer that I had in 2020.
Yeah.
The exact same beer. I was one of the highest rated beers that I had then. It was also maple-ish, barley wine-ish, barrel aged. And I think that was world class.
That was brilliant, that one.
Yeah.
It was Hair of the Dog, Omnipollo, and 2019, great beer. Yeah.
The Hair of the Dog is not around anymore, I think. I might be wrong on that.
Defunct,
but I think so.
at this. Yeah, I think a few years ago I heard the news of the Hair of the Dog. So,
but might be one of the best beers we've had this week.
Yeah, that was great.
So that's Omnipollo, beautiful location, the Kyrka, so the church. We didn't hang around that long. I wanted to buy some merch there as well, but all the shirts were very white, and I don't really.
But you found one.
Fit well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the person behind the bar, I don't know the person's name, but anyway, all the person there, all the people working there, they were great, and they fixed me a crew neck. Basically a sweater that wasn't sold anymore, somewhere hidden.
Found it backstage somewhere.
Back anywhere. And it's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. It was really cool. It was something that they normally don't do. So thank you, Omnipollo, for fixing that.
Yeah.
We went a day after that to the Archipelago. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, Archipelago, yeah.
There we went to a little brewery. It was a tap room of a brewery. It was not where they brewed.
Yeah, they used to brew the beers at exactly that spot. Fjäderholmarnas Bryggeri.
So
it's the
this
Faroe
is
Islands brewery.
This is why I'm not pronouncing the name of that brewery.
No, you don't have to, but yeah.
Can you say it again?
Fjäderholmarnas Bryggeri.
Good God. Never mind.
Fjäderholmarnas Bryggeri.
Very nice people there working there too. They had a bit of problem because it was a bit too busy that they expected, but that was food-wise, and they fixed that for us. They were super, super nice. Beers were decent, nothing mind-blowing, but just decent all around. Didn't have any bad beer. You were not keen on the wheat beer, but I thought it was also all right.
They had a really great...
the porter was fantastic. This was step one in Porterland in Sweden. I don't know why. You do it really well in this city. The same day we also went to
Ölkemi.
Ölkemi
Translates to beer chemistry. Yeah.
Ölkemi, of course. Little nice brewery, very small kit, very nice man from England.
Stephen Layton used to, or still into coffee. But English as he is, he loves beer, so a few bitters, some other, crazy beers going on there. So nice man, cool place. Yep.
Yeah, he's a fantastic person. I've only met him for a few minutes.
Very talkative.
But stole my heart. Fantastic man. And very decent beers, very nice IPAs mostly that I think we tried.
Yeah, it was a milkshake IPA.
Khan had a good lager, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Again, the sour was not really the thing that we kind of liked, but generally they were really nice. And what a lovely tap room. That was a lot of fun. And they also have ramen.
They do some ramen,
which we didn't dive into.
No,
that's weird.
up to that time.
Absolutely love ramen, but we already had dinner plans, so that was fun.
Yeah,
really, really nice place. So that's brewery number 3 already. Good God, I think that was it brewery-wise. Today we didn't really do any breweries, but we've had a lot of good.
Today we no breweries. No. We also went to Akkurat, which is...
that was after Omnipollo, which we do need to shout out, because the people from Akkurat took us... what's the name of the man of Akkurat?
Anders.
Anders, of course. Anders, beautiful name too. There's a fun brewery in Belgium, also called Brouwerij Anders.
Anders,
that's not the link here. Anders took us to the cellars of Akkurat.
Yep.
We saw the treasure trove of that beautiful bar. It was madness.
It's a great place. Been around for 30 years. I
got a cap from him, so I've been wearing it all weekend. We also got a prize list of the beers from the cellar.
Some of the vintage stuff is it's out of this world. So
well, he's right. He didn't. Those are the prizes. Should ask for that. And also cool, which was definitely also a common trend here in Stockholm. A lot of cask ale. So I delved into the cask ale there, and also the gravity pours. Yeah, and that was all fantastic. Yeah, it was really, really good. Wow, what a bar. Akkurat's fantastic. Really good bartender who speaks fluent Dutch. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Janneke, if you hear this, you are amazing. Your Dutch is impeccable. And you should hit your boyfriend that he doesn't speak any Swedish.
That's true.
Or the man, your partner that you're... are aligned with, because you are fantastic. You are phenomenal, and don't let anyone else tell you differently. And your service was amazing, and also the beers were fantastic.
Yeah,
absolutely amazing.
No, but they do know how to, always clean lines, always state of the art when it comes to cask, especially exactly the right moment now to crack it. So yeah. And that's the thing with Akkurat and also some other places here. So, but we also went to the Bishop's Arms, which is, speaking of Brewdog before, a Swedish franchise. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But they also promote a lot of local beers, which is good.
True, yeah.
And also cask.
The cask ale there as well. It was really good.
So yeah.
They also had a very weird window that looked like
indeed, yeah,
like a male. You
say it.
No, I think everybody knows what I mean. If you've seen my Instagram stories, you probably saw it there. I think that wraps us up actually
All
for
right,
today.
yeah.
I think it's time to go watch a moon. Thank you. We're gonna have a lovely last evening. I don't think this will be our last beer, but this beer is phenomenal. Thank you for sharing.
Great.
I'm pretty sure we'll see each other again soon. Ladies and gentlemen, keep on drinking the good beer. Like and subscribe to all things Hoppestraat. There's going to be another podcast, I think in 2 weeks. We have something very fun lined up. I'm not going to spoil anything yet, but I think it'll be interesting. You'll see. Thank you again, Kristoffer. You're the best.
Thank you,
are
Jesper.
a blessing.
And you too, and it's been a pleasure to have you over here and having some beers.
Cheers, prost.
Cheers. Prost. Skål.
Skål.
Om den kommer,